What does Batgirl do when bad guys sneak up behind her? She doesn't a boot face. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. In today's comic book editions video, I'm going to show you some recent additions into my collection, several of which are related to Batgirl. Batgirl, Batgirl, whose baby are ya? Well, she's my baby tonight, as you'll find out in a minute. Before I get started, and welcome, I do want to remind you that the third installment of JLA vs. Avengers, the show that I do with John's Comics with Kids, is coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, live on my YouTube channel. John and I switch off months on our channel, and I know it hasn't been a full month since we did episode 2, but we're squeaking episode 3 in tomorrow night, and I hope you can join us for that. It's Silver Age Goodness with Justice League of America, Volume 1, Issue 3, versus Avengers, Volume 1, Issue 3. So far in the previous episodes, JLA has been dominated. We'll see if they hold up that streak tomorrow night. If you can join us for the live chat, that would be amazing because we have a lot of fun interacting with the live chat. If you are watching this and the show is already passed, the video and the live stream are archived here on my YouTube channel. I have a playlist folder of JLA versus Avengers, so you can watch the previous episodes, get all caught up on this, and maybe for episode 4 you could join us live or sometime in the near future. We certainly are having fun doing the show, and I'm looking forward to that tomorrow night and hope that you can make it. All right, let's get into some Batgirl stuff to start out this comic book editions video today. A little bit of an impulse for the first thing that I'm going to show you, but something I've been looking at and going back and forth if I should get or not. And let me tell you why. First of all, it's Batgirl, the Bronze Age Omnibus, volume number 1. And it says the Bronze Age Omnibus, but honestly, it covers her first appearance in the Silver Age and her Silver Age appearances into the Bronze Age. So it's a little bit more than just the Bronze Age. This was released towards the end of 2017. I think it was released like the day after Christmas in 2017. I've been wanting this, but the reason why I haven't pulled the trigger on it is because there's a volume 2, and the volume 2 is out of print, and you can find it, but you can't really find it at a good price. And that kind of has stopped me. I'm like, why get volume 1 if I'm going to have a hard time getting volume 2? But then I looked at the contents of volume 2, and I pretty much have almost everything that's reprinted in its original format in floppies here in my collection already. Where the volume 1 contents, there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't have or would be more expensive to get. So let's talk about what's included in this. Her first appearance in Detective Comics from issue 359 is included. That was in 1967. It's amazing to me how fast from her comic book debut that they actually got the character onto the Adam West TV show, because she was in the 3rd season as a regular. But we got Tech 359, 363, 369, 371, 384, 385, 386, 389, 392, 393, 396, 399, I think, 400, 401, and then 404 to 424. During that run, she had just a continuous backup feature. So the stories weren't necessarily full length. You know, they might have been 6 to 8 pages or so. But those are all included, along with Batman Family, issue 1, issues 3 through 7, and 9 through 11. If I'm remembering correctly, I know issue 2 was a reprint, probably of something that was already included in here. And I think issue 8 might have been a reprint as well. And these are just the Batgirl stories out of Batman Family. This is a 501-page omnibus, but with some of the omnis that I've been getting lately, this feels so light. You know, I have these Wonder Woman Golden Age omnibuses, which they've just been jam-packing, 1,000 pages into. Or those Who's Who omnibuses that I've been gifted from my friends as Christmas presents the last 2 years. Those things are like triple the size of this. So to get one, and 500 pages is no slouching matter, but it almost seems light compared to what I've had with the other ones. I'm kind of excited about digging into this because, like I said, there's a lot of stories that I don't have. I would love in the comments below if you let me know if you think that it was a mistake buying this, knowing that I might not be able to get volume 2. Even though, like I said, I think I pretty much have most of the contents of volume 2 already in my collection in their original form. But I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm kind of in the same boat with Supergirl. There's a Silver Age omnibus, 2 volumes. that I'd kind of like to get to, but there was no, at least I haven't seen, a screaming deal, as Michael Ackery would say, on the Supergirl omnibuses. And there was a screaming deal on this Volume 1 Batgirl omnibus, too good to pass up, which is why it tipped me over to the point of pulling the trigger, and I did, and I've been able to add it into the collection, and probably tonight I'm going to start reading it. At least that's the plan. And while we're talking about Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, issue 15. This was released in December 2017, so the same month as the Batgirl omnibus. This is the B cover. Wonder Woman guest star, as you probably can tell from the cover. I don't think Wonder Woman was on the A cover. She was just on the B cover, but this is one of the cases where Wonder Woman doesn't appear until the very last page. Sometimes that drives me crazy when they put them on the cover, because I'm like, well, you kind of gave away what your big cliffhanger or your big ending was. But I will say the story is really good. I like this. It's pretty much a team up of the female DC heroes. Obviously the Birds of Prey, but beyond that, you get Lois Lane in the story, you get Catwoman in the story, Poison Ivy, and some other characters that aren't necessarily regulars in the Birds of Prey title. And something has affected the men in Gotham City, and they've been taken out by this plague, this mysterious disease. But it's not, the women aren't affected by it. So that's kind of the general storyline that begins in this issue. And then it does continue into issue 16. This is the regular A cover that was done by Yannick Paquette. Now, Yannick Paquette certainly knows a thing or two about drawing Wonder Woman, because he was one of her regular artists right after John Byrne left the title back in Volume 2. So now we're in January of 2018 with issue 16. Very good action-packed storyline, but of course I goofed again. You might remember in my comic book editions video where I was talking about Batwoman, where I thought that I had all of the issues that Wonder Woman guest starred in. I did the same thing. I thought, oh, she's just in 2 issues. It's a 2-issue storyline. Bing, bang, boom. Well, it isn't. The story continues and Wonder Woman is in issue 17. Now, I saw the main A cover and passed on it. I didn't see Wonder Woman on the cover, and I'm like, oh, she's probably not in the story then. But she is in the story. I don't have it. I need to get it sometime in the future because, first of all, it's a good storyline. But secondly, because for my Wonder Woman collection, too, I like to have that. I kind of like to get the B cover, though, with Wonder Woman faintly appearing way in the background of the B cover. I kind of like the B cover a little bit better. And might I say, I kind of like the days when maybe there was only the main cover and one variant cover. We don't need all of these massive covers that we keep getting for each issue has to have 6 covers to choose from, and then retailer exclusives. It's too much, too much, too much. But this storyline is one for me to keep in mind in the future for like a Women's History Month with all of these different heroes, or heroines, I should say, teaming up to try to save the guys. This would be a good story to feature sometime, maybe either as a back issue of the week or in Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Turning to more modern Birds of Prey from Volume 6. Earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, they started out with issue 3, a new storyline that guest starred the Amazons and Wonder Woman. Of course, this is exactly what I was talking about before that kind of drives me a little bit crazy. Wonder Woman doesn't show up until the very last page of the story. And that does drive me a little bit crazy. I think this cover is amazing, though. One thing that they did not do with this cover that I think is such a shame is do a foil version, because I would have snapped this up as a foil version in a heartbeat. I love the lasso and seeing the Birds of Prey through the lasso. I think that's so cool. Or imagine if everything was in black and white, or if it was all grayed out and the only thing colored in was the gold lasso. Wouldn't that be cool too as a variant cover? I think so. I know a lot of people have been raving about this Birds of Prey title, saying that this year it's one of the best titles that DC is publishing. So I enjoyed the storyline, which involves the Amazons and Diana being possessed. So here on the cover, we have a good Big Barda versus Wonder Woman cover. And it was my understanding that some point, or at the point in the story where Wonder Woman tries, or excuse me, where Barda tries to break Wonder Woman's back, that was being a little bit of an homage to Bane breaking Batman's back. I don't think she did break her back, but she tried to in this story. I waited until all these stories had wrapped up and then got them all at once, and then sat down and read them as one complete story. So I wasn't picking them up month by month when they were new issues earlier this year. But I will admit it was a very good story that I have enjoyed. And many people, I know JP Budget Collecting and John's Comics with Kids have been raving so much about how good the Birds of Prey title is, which I just mentioned a few minutes ago as well. This part of the storyline, issue number 5, doesn't feature a whole lot of Wonder Woman. It still continues the story, but we kind of delve in what's going on with some of the other characters who've broken away and have, you know, their own little portion to complete in the overall storyline. So not a lot of Wonder Woman inside, but still a good story. This cover wasn't necessarily my favorite, and I looked at the variant covers that were options for this, and none of them really struck my fancy either. So I just ended up going with the main A cover because this time I wanted to be able to get all of the pieces of the storyline together and have it not do what I was just talking about, what happened with that Batgirl and the Birds of Prey storyline, what happened to me with that Batwoman storyline that guest starred Wonder Woman. Didn't want that to happen this time, especially when these are 2024 issues. Not going to be a problem finding these. And the final piece to the storyline happened in issue 6. Here we have the sweater weather cover, which is not an easy thing to say, especially if you try to say that fast. This is Pablo Villalobos, and his style does not remind you of Adam Hughes? I mean, at first glance, every time I see, well, I shouldn't say every time, but most of the time that I look at Pablo's work, it has such an Adam Hughes-esque quality or style to me. I'm like, yeah, that reminds me a lot of Adam Hughes. Do you agree? And that kind of wraps up this storyline with the Amazons and Wonder Woman being possessed and fighting against the Birds of Prey. They would go on to do a storyline next up with Vixen inside the fashion industry. Wonder Woman's not part of that. She was just guest starring for this story arc. And it was good stuff. I am planning on getting the upcoming variant cover by Nicola Scott for Birds of Prey, which shows Black Canary and her Through the Years costumes all lined up. I'm going to try to get all of those Through the Years variants, I think. That at least is my plan. A little bit shorter on our comic book editions video today, but that is my haul. What did you think? Your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Leave a comment below because I love reading them, and thank you for watching and reading my comment, and leaving a comment for me to read because I do appreciate that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, of course, I have to throw out a plea to please subscribe to the channel because it means a lot to me. YouTube loves, the algorithm especially loves it when you give the video a thumbs up, a heart, a like, so make sure to take care of that for me. And then let me tell you what is coming up on the channel. Yesterday, I dropped the back issue of the week, YouTube short, 60 seconds about a comic book within my collection. Look for that on my channel already. Then, as I said, JLA versus Avengers Episode 3 tomorrow night with John's Comics with Kids on my YouTube channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And then this upcoming Sunday, the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. I'll be with Signature King Tony Fett and Comic Food 2814 with the latest DC Comics news and a flashback retro review story for you. So that's what's on the way in the channel, and I look forward to my next chance to get to visit with you very soon. Until then, take care, be safe, happy, healthy, and successful, and we'll hang out again soon.